Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the path of night.
Last time, on Path of Night, Britta and the Talmaheras set out on their mission to destroy Vito Zantosa. They successfully made it past chantry defenses. Britta barely maintained her humanity after killing an acolyte. The others swept through, killing many Tremere. The group split. Britta discovered more and more signs of infestation of vicissitude, as well as a fleeing Reese. Reese offered a bargain to her to try to keep Vito alive. Perun arrived back to Britta changed. As she encountered the Zantosa, Perun echoed Vita. Meanwhile, at the prince's office, Johnny met up with Miles, Wynn, and Ira, and Johnny revealed that he had an unconscious werewolf in the trunk of his car. The group received a phone call. Miles, your phone rings.
Miles here.
Miles, this is Reese.
How can I help you, Reese?
Hang up.
I think we have an unusual opportunity in which you and I might help each other.
All right. I'm listening.
As a show of good faith, the Tremere supported your praxis claim. I like to think that this is a step in the right direction for us. But I'm afraid matters have grown complicated.
All right. How complicated?
Do you know where Britta is?
Last time I checked, I thought she might be in Hartford.
Well, she's much closer than that. And a mutual enemy is currently a threat to her.
All right. What do you want me to do here?
I believe she's doing well enough for now.
Okay.
But she will need help. And I am willing to permit access to the location she has for some reason found herself in, so that you might help her. But there is something I need in exchange.
Is she in your chantry?
To call it mine might be something of a stretch tonight. Now, when you first detained Vito Zantosa, there were fragments of the Book of Nod that were in his possession. Where are they?
Hold on. I was about to cover over the phone, but I'm like, wait, he's super hearing anyways.
I'm sure you also can just put him on hold if you want.
I'll call you back. Click.
Hold, please.
I mute the phone, actually. Do we have any paperwork we found with Vito? This Reese is looking for it.
I'm sorry, I have a werewolf unconscious in the back of my car, and you're on the phone with Reese talking about some bullshit paperwork?
Britta is in the chantry.
All right,
Wait,
well,
what?
that changes things a little bit.
From the minute Miles said, "Hello, Reese," Ira has gone very still and is radiating snitch energy. Just very clearly like, this is a thing that I'm extremely interested in, and I am trying very hard and failing to pretend that I'm not that interested in what's going on right now.
Wait, so Reese has Britta?
No, she's in there.
I thought she was with Pendragon.
Who the fuck is watching her?
I don't know.
Oh God, it was Neil.
It could be a thing, but he wants whatever paperwork we found with Vito.
Okay, it was Neil and I had it. Neil took it. I don't think any of us got it back. If we got any of the stuff back that the Tremere seized, like when a bus happened to like steer in front of the cop car and crash the car that had his Khalif in it.
Didn't we fax that to the Justicar's office?
I don't personally remember any paperwork. I have no idea how a fax works. And this is getting a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
What kind of paperwork does Reese want?
Johnny, can I get an intelligence about Laurel?
Well, he didn't say nod out loud.
He did not.
2 successes.
With 2 successes, You recall that Neil had gotten a hold of what looked like Sabbat paraphernalia, some like documents of some sort pertaining to the Book of Nod. And you remember that they went to go make copies of it, but you don't quite recall what happened after that.
Now I'm getting a little bit frustrated we're talking about all this paperwork, because I do remember that Neil happened to snatch up some arcane Sabbat, let's say, tomes, but I wouldn't call that paperwork. Are we talking about all that, like, ritual components that he grabbed?
I don't know. He's just looking for it. I haven't asked him.
There was paperwork that Neil and I looked through. It was in a language I couldn't read. It was old.
Yeah, because this isn't just paperwork. We're talking about like Sabbat dark magic rituals.
Okay, so the answer is we don't know where any of it is right now. Without Neil present, we have no idea what's happening. And he's gone AWOL. Apparently not with Britta, because he's not in the chantry right now.
He could be hiding.
I kind of did see Neil for a second.
What?
Yeah. He was channeling through the body of Dashwood.
Where the fuck is Dashwood?
Currently in Ramirez's trunk.
How many people do you have in trunks tonight, Johnny?
Look, it's been a weird night, all right? Don't get on my ass about this.
Let's refocus here. So we don't have anything.
Well, I mean, we have Dashwood, presumably with Neil's consciousness inside.
Second up. Ira, I see you over there.
Yes, Your Grace.
Can you get us into the chantry?
Into the chantry?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Although, if the regent was allowing you access to the chantry...
It was more of a bargain.
Yeah, he likes to do that shit.
Yes. I don't know if you grasped what he's bargaining with there.
No.
You're not allowed in the chantry. So if he's allowing you access, either he doesn't give a shit about that chantry anymore, or things have gone so bad that he's desperate. Or I guess third, he's trying to get you
over a
killed.
barrel.
Probably all three.
I was going to say killed, but
possibly all three.
But
that sounds like Reese.
Needs somebody who knows their way. I mean, I haven't been to this one, but you need somebody who knows their way around chantry. I'm happy to provide at least a little bit of guidance.
Great.
What do you charge for it?
Would you believe me if I just said I'm happy to be here?
No, nobody's happy to be in New Haven.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
I will accept it for now.
We are on a time frame.
Yeah, because Britta's involved.
Hold, please. I unmute the phone. Reese?
Miles.
Sorry, we were trying to figure out what book that was.
The Book of Nod, Miles.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's the name of the book.
Great. We don't have it.
Who has it?
Neil has it.
Isn't he one of you?
He's not here right now.
Where
Last time we
is
knew
he?
he was with Britta.
He is not with Britta.
What is happening over there?
I don't know that I could easily explain it in a way that you would understand.
Is there somebody that, of the people you know I know, that would easily understand it?
I know of no one who can speak slowly enough, but I'll try.
Sounds good.
Vito Zantosa has been sought out for some time, specifically because of his connection to whatever it is that lies beneath the house. What lies beneath the house is part of a much greater whole. He is the means by which we could tap into it, discern the true name of the ancient, and accomplish important things.
All right.
Unfortunately, the methods by which we have kept Vito detained have been less successful than we had hoped. The chantry is no more, and what remains of it, Britta wanders through alone. Now, I believe that whatever it is that is happening on a global scale has agitated this thing, like a cousin calling out to a cousin, brother to brother. And that bond has caused something within Vito to awaken. We need to know what it was that Vito was protecting. Everything we can about his research and the nature of his relationship with the thing beneath the house. If I can find out what that is, perhaps we can prevent, well, what seems to be the next step in all of this.
All right. Well, if you let us in there, I will get Neil to give you the pages that we do have as soon as we locate them.
I can make this arrangement. However, it is imperative that Vito Zantosa is kept alive.
We'll do our best.
I'd rather leave her there alone than risk him. You cannot grasp the importance of this.
You know she's just as likely to kill him on her own, too.
You clearly don't understand what I've just explained to you.
Not entirely, but I don't feel like you know the entire...
Britta's going to die unless you help her, and I'm not going to let you help her unless you promise me your word of honor as a Ventru, as a member of the clan of kings, that Vito's existence will be preserved, because all of kindred kind may one night depend on it. Do you understand?
I do. I've also been working on this
And
problem.
do I have your word, your grace?
I will keep him alive.
Thank you. When you arrive to Yale University, I will have what remains escort you to the chantry.
Great. I take it you won't be there?
I'm there now.
See you then.
He hangs up.
Wynn kind of like, as soon as Miles hangs up, puts up her hand. Don't tell me the specifics of what you promised. Because if I don't know them, it doesn't matter if I break them. And it's all on me. And I will do what we need to do. And then you blood hunt me afterwards.
We'll figure it out. Reese is desperate. He didn't try to force me to do anything particular there, so...
Ira's phone rings.
Do I recognize the number?
You do.
Just a second. I open my phone.
Apprentice.
Regent.
Escort his grace and his companions to the chantry. Ensure that he is successful in his mission, and also ensure that the specimen, Vito Zantosa, is preserved. In the event that they should jeopardize Vito's existence, kill them. He hangs up.
People don't say goodbye around here, do they?
Don't tell me what he said to you either.
Ira looks like he was about to say something, and then just shrugs and goes,
You can tell the rest of us later.
Whatever you want, Sheriff.
I want to get my girl out of there, and I want whatever's putting her in danger to die. And if that's the Regent, that more than suits me.
You coming with us, or do you have other orders?
No. Regent Reese doesn't really want to go there on his own. He has asked me to escort you there.
Unsurprising.
So the chantry seems to have a Zamitzi infestation.
A Zamitzi infestation.
Like a hell house, sort of.
Yeah, that's what I got the gist of.
And Britta's in it.
Correct.
What's
the plan? Gear up. We'll attach a phone number and drop the werewolf off at the edge of the forest and head to the chantry. We just don't have time for this.
I don't know that that's a good idea either, though.
What do you want to leave it here?
It's a lupine?
Yes.
And it's alive.
Yes.
What if... Okay, this is a...
It was also frenzying in the middle of downtown New Haven. I've never heard about a lupine doing that unless it was brought there by the Sabbat, and I didn't see any hint that the Sabbat was there.
Seneschal, can I ask a question?
Sure.
You just did.
Why is it alive?
That's also a great question, because I put several silver bullets into its skull. So I'd love for someone to tell me why it's still alive.
I mean, why didn't you kill it off afterwards before you put it in the truck is the question, I think.
Unless, if I'm hearing you right, he tried.
Do we have time for this?
I was going to drain it of all its blood, but I promised someone I wouldn't. But as far as I know, putting several bullets in a skull, and especially with a lupine if they're silver, ought to have killed it in the first place.
Are we crushed for time?
Yes.
Then let's go. I don't know, like...
There are
werewolves
holding cells at the chantry.
I don't want to bring a lupine into a Tzimisce-infested chantry, thanks very much.
The Tzimisce-infested part does throw a wrench in that.
Yeah, it fucking does. Take him to my shack. I don't give a shit.
Well, that's also Tzimisce-infested.
That's fair. All right, I can track Britta. Someone drive the thing to Wallingford and then meet us at the chantry when they can.
We can just...
If time is pressed, let's just head there. If he's out, he's out.
It's what? What is the little freaking mountain here? Where are the woods over here?
If you're talking about Sleeping Giant.
Right. Well, just drop him off at the edge of Sleeping Giant.
Or you can bind him, tape him, put some silver in his mouth or whatever the hell you got, and just throw him in a locked basement somewhere so we can deal with the problem.
Do you think we have silver just laying around?
For that matter, just binding him. I'm not sure you've ever seen a lupine in full rage.
Can you put a wall or a girder or something on the trunk of the car?
Enough. We are dropping him off and then going to the chantry.
Fine, let's go.
Thank you.
You're the prince.
And on the seneschal, drop him off where exactly? Sleeping Giant?
Yes.
If we're pressed for time, taking a leisurely ride out to the mountain isn't exactly the best idea.
We're going.
Are we taking the car with the lupine in it? That also feels like a terrible plan.
Kick him into the bay.
That'll work.
Look, this werewolf is my problem. I'll deal with it. I'll meet you all at the chantry.
You brought him here. He is our problem now.
I don't think that's the case, Wynn.
I don't give a shit what you think. It's in our city now.
It was in the city before I brought it here.
Johnny said he's going to drop it off.
Then why are we talking and walking? What are we doing here? Let's go.
Right.
You got more than a 2-seater?
Yes, we have more than a 2-seater.
Is it the Hummer or is it the SUV?
We'll probably just take an SUV.
And you said the chantry is infested like Hell House was?
Yes.
All right, I'll pick up a few things up on the way there.
Great, we'll meet you there. Leave one of my numbers with him, the werewolf. We need to talk.
Johnny kind of looks upset with that idea, but he kind of rolls his eyes like he doesn't have a better one, nods, and heads out.
Wynn hasn't stopped moving towards the garage at this point.
Ira, do you need anything?
No.
Great. Let's rock and roll.
And with that, the group of you start to head out. As you do, Miles, you notice that some of the displaced princes are kind of milling around, chatting with each other, making small talk, but wherever they congregate, it always seems to be as close to your office as reasonably possible. And then you're off.
God damn it, Neil.
Who's that?
Remind me to get an air horn.
Britta, roll initiative.
I'll spend for 2 rounds of celerity.
Sounds good.
19.
Perone will be acting on a 15. Vito Zantosa acts at the end of each round.
How close did glass break near me?
When you turn quickly to see the source of the glass breaking, you see that Vito Zantosa, with his hand up to the glass, very gently tapped it with a finger and shattered the reinforced glass.
How close is Perone?
Perone is merely steps away.
Then he is getting shot because I'm afraid that Majesty won't work on him. So, Britta, seeing Perone so close, is going to aim for a headshot. It's difficult at this range, but she doesn't think she can afford to let him get a grapple on her.
WWJD. What would Johnny do?
Go ahead and give me an attack roll. Your difficulty is 7.
Does either spec graceful or sharpshooter count?
Sharpshooter.
That is 4 successes.
3 successes will carry over, and you'll enjoy plus 3 dice of damage for headshot.
5 damage.
With a deafening staccato, you open up, multiple rounds hit him squarely in the head, and despite the surface damage, it doesn't seem that he's actually impeded.
Britta cries out his name just one more time, just hoping that maybe shooting him could knock him out of it, but that hope is quickly disproven.
He fails the willpower roll to resist. Get done. He reaches towards you. In his eyes, you can see he's desperate and pleading, but he isn't in control of himself.
But there is something in his eyes that would lead me to believe he is in there.
He is fighting it, but not successfully.
passenger in a hijacked car.
Yeah.
A meaty hand reaches out in an attempt to grapple you. Do you wish to attempt to dodge?
Yes.
Okay, sacrifice a celerity action and roll Dex plus dodge, or Dex plus athletics.
A lot of ones. But still 3 successes.
2 is 4. He reaches out and grabs you, lifting you into the air with ease. Vito speaks. Look at you. Flesh so pure, sweet. Ever since that night I found you, I knew that we would be together. It is the gift of my father to erase all that divides us and unite our species, to make us one. Do you understand?
Perrin, please let me go. Vito, I don't know what you mean. I don't...
Vito walks towards you, his hands up, sort of the way that a surgeon might, after their hands have been washed and they're ready to perform surgery.
Seeing that, Britta, if she's able to, within the time constraint, activate Majesty.
You are unable to do so until next round. So, you are the only one with celerity actions.
Mm-hmm. Which actions are limited to me since I am in grapple?
In order to take physical actions such as moving away or attacking someone, you must first either escape, break, or reverse the grapple.
I would like to use my last celerity action to try to slip out of the grip.
Roll it. Dexterity plus brawl, difficulty 6.
And if I have no brawl?
You have no penalty for talents.
I will use a willpower. 6 successes, including the willpower.
6 successes defeats his 3. And lithely, you slip free of his grasp and drop to your heels. Next round. Are you spending the same amount of celerity for extra actions?
I will spend 3 blood for 3 rounds of celerity. Not 4, I want to keep that 1 extra dice.
Seeing the game you're playing, Vito Zantosa will spend for celerity.
Britta drops down to her heels, and she feels that incoming slowness of the world that celerity brings, but she sees that Vito isn't slowing down. So, having seen a brief glimpse of Perun and hoping against hope that she might not have to kill him, she spends another willpower to activate her majesty. And as she does, the awful things Vito says about her contribute more to her power in the situation. Hopefully.
Perun staggers towards you, fighting desperately to free himself of Vito, but for whatever reason, this potent elder cannot. What is the difficulty of resisting your majesty?
A subject must make a courage roll, difficulty equal to the vampire's charisma plus intimidation to a maximum of 10.
What is your charisma plus intimidation?
8.
Perun fails to resist your majesty and is unable to spend willpower at all, so he cannot overcome it by the power of his generation. He staggers back, and in a fit of rage, Vito's beast is roused by your resistance. He lets out a howl of frustration, and when he does, he throws his beast from himself into Perun, and Perun's body begins to warp and twist and grow, and over the course of mere moments, he assumes the Zulu form. And now, Perun towers nearly 8 feet in height, a lanky, clawed, bone-spined monster. You actually recognize this as being something very similar to what happened to Wynn.
Yeah.
Do not resist me. That was a reflexive action.
Ugh.
He does not resist your majesty. Your action.
Britta would not have stopped to check. She's running.
Britta runs. Behind her, she can hear the sounds of Vito screaming in frustration. And you make it to what is another long tunneled passageway. Mm-hmm. And that seems to head to a different quadrant of the chantry. There, you see more of the winding, orange, fleshy, tissued fungus, whatever it is. And there, you make it to a door. The door is currently sealed, and in the distance behind you, you can hear Vito's footfalls. The group of you arrive to the site at Yale. There, you can see there are ambulances Fire trucks, police tape, reporters talking something about some sort of riot that broke out among students. There's a car overturned. Whatever's going on, it's tearing the city apart. Ahead, at the actual library, it seems quiet, peaceful. The throng of mortals seem to subconsciously avoid it. So Ira, Miles, and Wynn, the group of you are gathered, waiting for your fourth to arrive before you go in.
So what's the plan?
Chantries are fortified. There's going to be a lot to go on, but if it's a meatsy, I don't know much about the flesh crafters. But I can figure out a general layout, but if I'm being honest, I just got to town, so I don't know this one specific. Looks over at Miles. You carry your katana on you?
Yeah.
Your Grace, if you'd permit me. And he kind of gestures with one of his sort of gloved hands, but with one of the ungloved fingers towards the katana. Things might get bad if there's a bunch of Zamitsi stuff in there.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Do you want me to fortify your steel a bit?
You coming on to him?
You're going to magic up the sword?
Only if you want.
Stop the eyebrow waggles.
Ira is like very deliberately ignoring the sheriff at this point. Just being like, no, I'm not. I'm talking to the prince. I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, that'd be great. Is there anything we should know before we talk to Reese?
I don't think so.
So I can track Britta's beast if I can get a scent on it. So I can probably find her in there once we get in some range of her. I think knowing where they keep the stuff that they would, like Vito, that they would keep there.
The bottom. It's far down. There's probably going to be holding cells, experimental areas, things that keep way down deep, so they got to go up if they're going to try and get out. That's where the most defenses lie.
Okay, so if you can get us down there expediently, I can probably pick up her trail.
There's also bound to be a security room. So long as the lights of the cameras aren't actually shattered, even if the power's off, I can take a look. Tracking our beast is one thing, but there's going to be things in there that are intended to confuse the senses.
This doesn't rely on tricks. This accounts for tricks.
You say that.
I do say that.
Mm-hmm. Either way, we can find your friend down there.
That said as well, Lex, what's the spiritual landscape of this area look like? Ghosts or spirits?
Very little, if at all, in the way of ghosts, which is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Yale is home to a lot. It's a very important place, and the spirit world here seems poisoned, rotting. Black veins kind of exude from this location.
Like at Hell House.
Just like at Hell House.
This is bad, guys. Wynn just kind of like mid-conversation, kind of like just starts looking around. And she's clearly seeing things that are beyond the reporters and the police tape and the flipped cars. This is, for Ira, who hasn't known Wynn very long, it would be easy to assume things didn't rattled her very easily at this point. But for Miles, who knows that Wynn doesn't rattle super easily, she is a bit rattled.
We knew that going in.
No, but it's
Hell House Part 2.
It's poisoning the spirit lands, and it's bleeding in, and it shouldn't be happening. Like, Hell House had years to get that level of corruption.
If you're seeing something like that, it means whatever it is that they had down there breached containment.
As I pass the sword to Ira.
Ira holds his hand out for him.
Yeah. I try to get a read on him. I'm trying to get a sense of, like, is he on the up and up? Is he some sort of, like...
Roll me a perception empathy.
Oh, fuck.
Ira, manipulation, subterfuge.
Does my spec in hidden motives apply?
Sure does.
It's an 8-die pool. And a couple of ones.
Miles, how many successes do you have?
4 successes.
With my multiple ones, means I only get 3 successes.
Then I just use command. I don't know.
Tell me.
What are you hiding?
Ira is very clearly interested in more than just being a helpful guy. The sword thing is truly on the up and up, although he's also doing it clearly because he's seen you now go out of the office twice, both times with the katana, so he's also trying to do it as a way to butter you up.
Great. It's working.
Between him getting extra, like, listening close, curious when Reese was on the phone and mentions of the region in general, and the fact that he sort of has been talking like, you know, well, I'm new to the area, but I'm also kind of familiar with the general layout of maybe multiple Tremere chantries. He's definitely interested in more than just being helpful and grabbing Britta. He may not know what yet, based on the overall levels of curiosity, but he's definitely here for a purpose. And it's not just, hey, I'm new in town. Like, that was bullshit.
Right. Based on that, it seems like he's here, weirdly enough, not for us this time, which is, I don't know how to feel about this. Usually all this shit rolls our way. So I think he's here for something else. So, like, cool. Keep doing that.
Miles, your sword for the next scene will do an additional 4 dice of damage.
Got it.
It's actually as Ira is performing his magic in their little discreet corner away from prying eyes that Johnny arrives just in time to catch it.
What does he see him doing with the blade?
There is sort of he's like incanting under his breath and moving his fingers in these little geometric patterns, and then like tracing the fingers, specifically the fingers that don't have gloves over them, like don't have the leather of a glove over them, and are exposed over the metal of the blade. And you see like a little bit of like static discharge almost as he does it. The effect is actually pretty subtle. The sword, it doesn't really shine anymore. It doesn't look anything, except when he hands it back to Miles, any like give in the steel that would have been there is gone. It is the platonic ideal of a sword, specifically the platonic ideal of Miles' sword. And he gives it back and just goes, well, should at least have strengthened the bonds on the atoms within the steel, so shouldn't be breaking anytime soon, and should hold that edge at least for a little while.
As he hands it back to Miles, Johnny steps out from the driver's side of the car and kind of gives him a disdainful look. He's just wearing his white t-shirt and a pair of Wayfarers. His leather jacket is in the back seat. He shuts the door, goes over, and starts fumbling around in the back seat. You can see he takes out a armored vest that he puts on. Over the armored vest, he straps on a shoulder holster where he sits the revolver that he has into that. He then puts his leather jacket back on and fits a matte black axe to his back. And then he grabs a gym bag and takes the gym bag and lifts it up out of the vehicle. You can see that it actually looks like it weighs quite a bit. He brings that around to the trunk of the vehicle, where he opens up and pulls out a little red gas can. He shuts the trunk and sets both down on the back of it. Out of the gym bag, he pulls 2 fingerless leather gloves that he fits on, and then grabs a chainsaw that he opens the gas can to and starts filling up.
Jesus Christ.
He's still smoking a Morley while he does this.
Feels on brand.
Ira looks back over at Johnny and then back to Miles as he hands the katana back over. Just Seneschal bring a chainsaw to the chantry?
It seems like it.
What, you don't bring chainsaws to your chantries?
No.
It's called the Brewhog greeting. He comes walking over, festooned with weapons, chainsaw in his hands, cigarette in his mouth.
It means you might be able to keep up with me.
Like the last time we went into one of these places like this, it was
A chantry or a hell house?
a hell house.
Because both times were awful.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you've been in a chantry before?
Salem.
I don't... Lex, what do I know about the chantry in Salem? Anything?
Roll me intelligence plus occult, difficulty 7.
This is a 10-die pool. Diff 7, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Diff 5 for me right now. It's a 5 successes.
You know that a great deal of information regarding the chantry has been redacted, but that doesn't mean that all details have escaped you. You are aware that the Salem chantry had been founded quite some time ago by John Reese. However, when a major conflict began to break out between Operation Longbow and some of the local coteries, disaster struck when a coven of witches by the name of the Order of the Cloven Hoof caused some event so terrible that the chantry needed to be closed down. Reese is actually held in great esteem by the clan because of the number of Tremere that he saved from the disaster personally. It once was a major location for a high Saturday, but rumors have it that a mysterious group known as the Order of the Worm had designs upon the location. While the Pyramid loyal Tremere were able to stop their efforts, what rests there now is so terrible that they had to clear out.
How long ago was this?
This is about maybe a decade ago.
Okay.
At least, what information you have
By
on
official reports.
Right.
Okay. Ira frowns for a second. Been to the Salem chantry.
Yep.
So, this coterie makes it a habit of barging into Regent Reese's chantries.
Clan Tremere makes it a habit of inviting us in.
Also, tomorrow night stories. Can we get into the chantry here now, please, and get Britta?
Yeah,
Sounds
who
like a
is
plan.
Britta, by the way? Who am I
She's
looking
our
for?
coterie mate.
Yes, who am I looking for?
Toreador, really pretty.
Be more specific at all.
She's gonna be the only pretty Toreador in the chantry running around Zamitzi town.
Ira looks sideways and then looks back and goes, "Can you be more? Any details, please?"
Gray eyes, dark hair, 19-ish.
Thank you. And starts walking into the library. Shall we?
Sounds good. Is Reese meeting us here? I was unclear.
Oh, yeah. Might be convenient for everybody if we don't mention how quickly I found you after the Regent called me. And he walks through the door into the library.
Didn't I ask him about something we should be talking about before?
Yep.
Okay.
He's a Tremere. What do you expect?
More wands. I follow him.
I don't do that.
He talks less like he has a dick in his mouth than Reese does. Let's go.
Johnny brings up the rear.
Hearing the dick in the mouth comment, Ira gets weird and self-conscious and stubs out his cigarette. Moves on.
Wynn wasn't being quiet.
He ain't Neil, but he's got decent senses.
The group of you make your way in. Very quickly, Ira, you notice something's wrong. Surveillance is down. When you get to the main entrance, this chantry, by the way, is designed to essentially be a vault, with great care taken to make sure that it is even harder to get out than it is to get in. However, the vault door entrance has been torn off its frame and casually tossed aside. Apparently, this Britta isn't just some Toreador. In addition to this, there's a fine layer of ash over the floor.
Your friend, she a killer?
Not by her choice.
Not my question.
Why does it matter?
Because we're walking through a field of dead right now.
We're gonna be walking into a field of dead.
Exactly my point.
Wynn, he does have a point. This Ash is one of your clan?
I'd have to check, but
Either way, to answer your question, she's capable of killing. But I don't think this is Britta's work. If she does kill someone, it's going to be point blank with an assault rifle in the back of the head.
Ira just immediately starts looking around for bullet holes.
None here, but the hand that tore the vault door off its frame is rather small and delicate. You can tell by the half-inch imprint of a hand on the steel.
Also, she's not the one that tore this door off.
No.
No.
Which gets to the point that there's something else going on here.
Maybe she didn't come in alone. Maybe coming here wasn't her choice.
Who would nab your friend?
She was nabbed from us.
Last time we knew Prince Pendragon out of Hartford.
From Operation Longbow?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
He does have an army of Bruja at his disposal. He says, looking at the door and the imprinted hand.
Why would Pendragon make open war on an entire chantry?
No idea. We're going to have to go in and figure it out.
So we're going down? Yes? Go
Yes.
down, finding Britta?
Yeah.
Because you know how we can answer all this? We talked to her.
Sheriff, I understand your desire for
I don't
haste,
think you do.
Enough. Keep
but
it
if
cool.
we charge into a scenario we don't understand, we could all die, and that doesn't help your coterie mate.
Then stop talking and start moving.
It pains me to agree with him, but we do have to be careful here.
I know that. I think we need to stop analyzing the ashes of dead people and focus on people we can save. Because, by the way, there's no ghosts here. There's no ghosts in Yale.
There is one, as you say it,
Wynn's kind of head jerks.
and you see Romeo down the hall, looking your way. Meanwhile,
Britta charges down the hallway in desperation. She does not drop Majesty. As she's going, she yells out, "Vito, don't change me. I don't want to be changed." And she tries to get the door open.
all things change, and you can start to see his shadow crest over the entrance to the tunnel. And then the vault door opens from the other side.
Britta charges through. It might be a trick, but might anything be.
You get on through, and you see Shrike kind of give you a nod and shut the vault door behind you. You look like you've seen a ghost.
Vito's on the other side. Perun has been infected or something. He's trying to fight it.
Fuck him. Where's Romeo?
I don't know. Is the sword going to hold?
Against what?
Britta takes hold of Shrike and, first of all, is there any form of locking mechanism on the door?
Yes.
Has he locked it?
No.
Britta locks it immediately and then goes to try to get Shrike to move away from the door.
Okay, all right. Don't touch me.
Britta rolls her eyes, lets go of his arm, and starts moving.
Okay, hold on. There's something you need to see.
What? What is it?
Listen. And your curiosity starts to get the better of you. And when you extend your senses, you hear this mumbling coming from one of the cells, like a group of people. We're way underground, and no one's been checked in here for a while. But for some reason, some little gaggle of inmates seems to be aware of what's going on out there in the east.
Britta looks over. Is this area infected with the orange?
Yeah,
everything?
You can definitely see some signs of it.
Yeah.
Shrike doesn't seem to care about a little fungus, and he takes you to what looks like some sort of kind of really old stone, cement, steel, like holding pen. And inside of it is a group of people who are like covered in dust. They've been here for a long time. There are cups of blood kind of stained with them, kind of strung about. And a lot of them pace in circles. Sometimes they all speak in unison for a single word or two, and then start mumbling about other things.
With my heightened senses up, can I hear heartbeats or breathing? Do they appear to be mortal? I see the cups, but...
There are no heartbeats coming from the room. And when you look really close through this like slot that he's opened up so you can peer into the room, you can see clearly that they are infected. As some of them have these growths that kind of cause them to more wobble than walk. Some of them their faces are almost unrecognizable because of the mutations that they've experienced as a result of whatever it is that Vito has been doing.
Britta's expression softens with pity and horror, but she tries to talk through the slot. Can you think for yourselves?
They gasp, and a handful of them part. One steps forward and nervously scratches the back of his neck, and you recognize his body language. Neil. It is not Neil, but the way he walks, the way he looks at you, the way he worries visibly about you, you know that's Neil.
Britta still raises her assault rifle to the slot. There's been too many tricks.
Britta? Oh, God. Are you not Britta right now? I'm not Vito. You don't have to shoot me. Is it... Are you Britta, or are you like...
No, I'm...
Agent Britta. Are you... I'm so sorry. I tried... I tried to get him away from you.
How are you?
Are you okay? He didn't get you, did he? Oh, God, he didn't eat you. No, that's a stupid question. That's a stupid question because you're standing right here. He obviously didn't eat you.
Hang on.
What? Are you okay?
Neil?
Yeah, what? Are you alright?
You don't look...
I don't what?
Okay, do you know what's going on here?
Yeah, we're here. They're here. They're here, Britta. The, Miles and Johnny and Wynn. I guess me, but I'm they're here for you. They're here to get you. They're here to get you out of here. That's awful here. God, this is a sea of awful shit here. This place is so much worse than I ever thought it was going to be, but but there's somebody else. There's somebody else here.
Yes.
Somebody, no, not any of them. Not any of them. Not any of, there's somebody here, somebody who needs your help. And God, you remember what I said about the end of everything?
Neil, this is not time.
It is the time, okay? It is the time. Because this is the end, okay? God, it feels like the end of everything. And the important thing is being with the people you care about, but I think, and facing the end with all those people, but
Neil, I really need you to get to
Britta,
the point.
I'm trying, okay? And there's another part to it, okay? It's just doing a little bit of fucking good before we all go out, okay? And there's somebody here who needs your help. You have to find Eden. You have to find Eden. God, I wish I knew what that meant. But somebody needs to help you and everyone else. I'm sorry I'm not more, but everyone else is here with you, and they're here for you. But before you go, you have to find Eden. Please.
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Yeah, but I think I probably almost got you killed.
And the thin blood just looks at you slack-jawed. Eyes suddenly devoid of the expression that Neil had just moments ago.
Neil?
Neil. Shrike speaks up. No, it doesn't look like any of them are Neil. It does show here that they tried to get one. Is Neil important to you?
Britta goes to see what he's looking at.
You head over, and he is going through literal file cabinets, and within them is a list of people who have been checked into this room. And it looks like, based on what he's seeing, is the Tremere made an effort of gathering as many seers as they could, locked them in here, and used their insight to gather information on upcoming events, so to speak, in terms of kindred society. And one of the people they tried to get, was someone named Neil.
Britta covers her mouth in horror as she realizes how long these people must have been here. Does the amount of names, is it equal to the amount of people, or does it seem lower?
The number of names listed is actually greater than the number of people that are in that room.
Even taking into account that some of them would be missing, like Neil.
Yeah, going through, Shrike actually gives you a hand. It seems like whenever Vito needed flesh, whatever that means, they just kind of grabbed a spare and threw them in.
Britta automatically focused on the horror of the task, thanks Shrike, before there's a strange pause as it doesn't matter. She's focused on the task, and she looks back over, hurriedly just muttering, yes, to Shrike before going to the bar, the slot, right? That's the only place you can see through?
Yeah, it's again like another big steel-like door with a slot that can slide open to interact.
She looks to the thin blood and she says, do you know of an Eden?
Eden burned. Lilith. So far away from Eden. Eden near last daughter of Eve. Last daughter, and they start kind of nodding to each other.
Is someone here named Eden, or?
Ahi Lilitu.
I have academics. Would that be helpful?
This is more associated with your training, but yeah, I'll go ahead and allow for an academics. Give me a intelligence academics at difficulty 8.
Alrighty. 2 successes.
With 2 successes, you recall during your training those who worshipped Lilith would say it, and it translated to roughly, all hail Lilith.
And do I have any perspective on who this Lilith is?
You are aware of her significance, her cultural significance among the mortal masses. You also know that she apparently has some sort of significance to vampire kind, but the details you don't know.
Okay. Britta racks her mind, and she goes back to join Shrike where he was at the filing cabinets, looking for the women's names, if there's anything like an Eden or a Lilith.
He puts his hands up and actually backs away. He's like, why don't you do the research for a bit? I'm going to go check on our teammates.
How much research does there appear to be?
There's a pretty decent number of filing cabinets.
Then Britta is just going to nab a pile from E and from L in the appropriate spots and keep up with Shrike.
So I happen to pair him.
I was walking with him in where we went and everything went black and I lost track of him and the other. he started speaking really tonelessly, and it seemed like he wasn't really, like his bones weren't in the usual order, and he started talking like Vito does, and I shot him when he came towards me. He's still alive, but it's like Vito throws his beasts into people, and it changes them into something more powerful but monstrous.
He kind of makes, probably for the first time, an honestly nervous face. We should get together the rest of the team.
Britta.
And he starts kind of like talking into comms, and
Britta keeps on looking through the files as she's walking, just dropping the ones that aren't relevant along the way.
give me an intelligence investigation.
2 successes.
With 2 successes, you do find that there is a cell that is specifically meant to hold someone named Eden. A great deal of information on her seems to have been redacted, but it looks like they've been holding on to her for almost 2 decades.
Does the cell seem to be along the way?
It does.
Britta keeps an active eye out for it, and when they pass it, she's going to try to unlock it.
You get to it. It's a door, actually, just kind of further down the block. It has the same slot and everything.
She'll look through first, just in case it's a little too orange in there.
When you look through, you see someone who's got a very slight build, perhaps maybe a little malnourished. She's pale, has kind of like long, dark, kind of messy hair, isn't brushed very often.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of clothes, she's dressed in the kind of gown that someone might wear in like a hospital. There's the start of a room, but it's very, very Spartan, probably a bit chilly. And you hear a heartbeat coming from her. This girl is alive.
Are you yourself?
She looks up. Yeah.
I'm going to try to open the door, but... And Britta just starts trying.
You check. There seems to be an electronic lock on it. And then you start to hear the banging on the vault door where Vito had been coming from. And as he bangs on the vault door, sounds start coming from the room that held the Thin Bloods. Hissing and gnashing, and they start banging on their door trying to get out.
Are there any other doors between that and myself?
Just a long hall.
Then I'm just very quickly going to attempt larceny on this.
Go ahead and give me a dex larceny.
Difficulty?
9.
Okay. 2 successes.
With 2 successes, you hear the click that you hoped to hear, and the door slides open, and inside, the girl gets up and starts to kind of stagger towards you, as if maybe they've gone a bit without feeding her and giving her water.
Britta darts in, grabs hold of her wrist, and keeps running. I'm sorry, I don't really have an explanation, but we're going.
You hear her, like, bare feet slap against the cement floor as she tries to keep up with you. And behind you, now in the hall, you see something truly terrible. Those Thin Bloods, their bodies have molded together, and whole chunks of the veiny fungus that has grown along the wall has peeled off of it and begun to writhe and become animated. And this mass of meat and Vito Zantosa's will begins to rush down the hall, barreling toward the 2 of you. The group of you head down the hall. Again, it's a tunnel. Wynn, you know that fungus. Johnny, you do too. In fact, you specifically recognize it from that douchebag boyfriend you once had to put down. This fungus, whatever it is, same sort of stuff. As you arrive to Romeo, he kind of gives this somber wave.
Are you?
He nods. For now.
Okay. What are you doing here?
I can't really explain that.
Okay, then...
What I can tell you is that Britta's in a lot of trouble. And what's after her is bad, bad news. I'll help as best I can.
That's all I need.
Can we see him?
No.
Okay.
Ira is looking at the sheriff with like a questioning eye.
How are there other people we should be worried about down there other than what's after her?
Yeah. Don't trust anyone down here but Britta.
Including you?
He nods, including me.
Okay, then help as best you can, I guess.
Wynn, you want to let us know what you're seeing?
Romeo. He says Britta's down there. There could be others. Don't trust anyone we see, including him.
Well, good thing I can't see him.
Guess you guys lucked out on that one.
The group of you head towards what becomes this kind of foyer space. Looks like there's a security room set up. This is kind of the main area for observing the spaces that are arranged for the chantry.
Is power working?
Power is working.
Ira goes over to like the observation bank and the cameras and just starts suspiciously expertly like flipping through Tremere security protocols looking for anything he can see.
As you head over, there's a couple of things that you do notice. One, a number of the security devices, like cameras, the tech is like rotted, like it aged decades and is in disrepair. When you get to the computer itself, tapping on keys, the keys don't move. The computer, it seems like it is frozen in time.
Huh.
Ira, as an aside, if you see any of this fungus, don't touch anything.
Is it going to try and touch me?
It's not going to try.
The answer is yes. It will probably try to touch you.
You can't let me be a little catty.
Not right
Not
now.
down here.
Not for that.
I think for that it's fine, but...
Okay.
Your friend Britta.
Romeo's taking us.
Okay. Don't know who Romeo is.
Romeo's a wraith. He used to be kindred.
Non-Tremere. At this point, I need you to make a willpower roll at difficulty 7 to not become lost.
Iron will come into this?
Yeah, we'll do extra dice. Instead of the increased difficulty, just bonus dice equal to, what do we give?
Current willpower or total?
Total.
Okay.
4 successes.
Also 4 successes.
5 successes.
Right, you're a Tremere.
I'm a Tremere.
So he's lost. I got it.
So,
Always.
space, time here seems woefully inconsistent. And there are times where you guys are finding some sort of ambiance to this place, trying to disorient you and remove your ability to determine which way you're headed at any given moment. You push through, but are well aware that any slip-up means that you can get lost in a room forever.
This place has got a real bad vibe.
Well, most times you're not welcome here. Feels fine if you're welcome. Hey, your friend Britta, Ira is continuing to like mash on buttons and just like get really simultaneously frustrated and curious. Like scientific curiosity mixed with like, why isn't it fucking working? He goes, your friend Britta, she just like a regular Toreador, or she fuck around with time or whatever the hell, and he's just like continuing to smash on the buttons. Somebody locked this in place. Like, I can't hit the keys, I can't hit shit. It's just full stasis.
Not in her skill set.
This ain't any thaumaturgy I recognize either.
It's nothing that she's ever shown us, but it's very possible the mushrooms could be growing in and...
Who exactly was Romeo warning us about?
Other people that were here.
Who else is here?
We don't know.
Someone besides Vito and besides Clan Tremere.
Is Romeo still around? Romeo, can you give us any...
I can't.
Did Britta lock the computer in place?
No.
It wasn't Britta.
Okay, well, doesn't really help us a whole lot here.
No, it doesn't, so let's keep going.
Ask your Romeo friend what level she's on. What's she around? Just give me a description and I can find it.
She looks at him.
The Seers. The Thin Bloods.
She kind of gives Romeo this pensive look, and she doesn't break eye contact from Romeo. She's with the Seers and the Thin Bloods.
Ira, I mean, you guys have only met him like an hour ago, but like usually has this sort of like cocky putting on airs, like, I'll just schmooze the... Seers and Thin Bloods is the first time that anyone's talked about Tremere or Chantry stuff where he looks lost. Just like, it's there and gone. He like puts his face up pretty quick again, but looks confused and gets this frown on his face like...
Is that deep inside, Romeo?
I can show you the way.
As far as we can trust you, then yeah.
Okay. Let's end the lights go out. Power is gone. everything becomes pitch black, and the group of you can hear this familiar skittering.
Hold on.
Wynn spends a blood and pops gangrel eyes.
Lex,
Yo,
this place is like a fucking lab, right? Are there like just entubed power cables on the walls or anything like that?
yeah.
Okay. Hey, watch your eyes for a sec. I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Do it quick.
Combat starts. Roll initiative.
Fuck.
Just so everyone's aware, blind fighting rules mean that all of your combat rolls are at +2 difficulty.
Am I blind fighting?
You are not.
Sweet. Johnny, be real careful with that chainsaw, please. That's 13.
Johnny will spend 3 blood on extra actions, and that will leave me with a 18.
Drawing my katana, that'll put me at 22.
Fuck yeah.
I am not using focus mind to act a little bit faster, so I'm gonna be at a big ol' 9.
Miles, you can't see the problem, but you can hear them. It's your action.
I'm going to cut the problem.
You may make your attack a difficulty 8.
Looks like 1 success.
You may roll damage.
Remember, you're +4.
8 damage.
You hear a loud squelching sound combined with that of a coconut being sliced open. And then roll to soak a single level of aggravated damage as something sizzling hot splashes against your flesh.
Wow. 7 successes?
Doesn't hurt.
Am I getting an acid impression?
Yes.
No.
Very literally.
It has acid, blood, internals, something.
What?
Johnny, you're not totally sure what you just said, but it's your turn.
Johnny is going to take a drag in his Morley as he pulls the ripcord on the chainsaw. As it kicks into life, and a loud growling rumble fills the chamber. You better get those lights working fast, Ira. And he guns the chainsaw. That's my action.
What
Wynn.
am I seeing?
Yes. You see something that looks like melon-sized ticks, their bodies.
These fuckers again.
But their legs are long and spindly like that of a daddy long legs, and they move very gracefully. And these things come clicking, and lining their backs and the sides of their jaws are these fingers. And you saw, when Miles hit it, that it was reaching, and as it brushed against his skin, his flesh rippled for just a moment. These things are flesh crafters. And when he split it open, he revealed that its core is made from like some sort of humanoid skull. And within, the juices kind of came bursting out this orangey white kind of hot pus that sizzled against his flesh. There's a dozen of them in here.
I think I'm going to start by spending a blood for my claws. Where is Ira?
Ira is over by the computers looking for... He's kind of reaching around where there's a collection of cables.
Okay. Wynn will move to cover Ira as he is doing... He had said he was going to get the lights on, and that will increase our odds of success immeasurably. So she's going to move over by him and give him some cover. And as she moves, her horrifying fingernails, just to say that they elongate does not do credit to how horrifying they become. The edges of her nails, where the skin meets the nail, splits as they grow past where she can reasonably hold nails. You know, it would probably bleed and be horrifying to anyone else, but this is almost meditative for her at this point. And she steps in to guard Ira and says, "Guys, they're like the ticks from Hell House, but longer legs, and they can flesh craft. They have fingers, don't let them touch you."
What's the layout of this room?
It's dark.
They coming through a single door or something like that?
Are they?
They came in through these vent shafts that are in the area and through other entrances to the room.
So they're all over. Got it.
They're all over.
There's not a single entrance point. They're coming in from everywhere. There are about a dozen.
Ira looks at us. Okay. Make sure you're not touching at me and watch your eyes. I'm going to get the lights on. And Lex, I'm going to light myself up.
Cast.
Well, I only need one success, but 6 successes. That same arc light that he used to snap the cigarettes on earlier, Ira starts to, like, very rapidly become covered with this, like, St. Elmo's fire, just an aura of crackling electricity until he is just a pillar of lightning. And with his hand attached to the power cable, Lex, he's going to basically just juice up the room and as much as the lights are going. Not with the intention to, like, overload all the lights, but to get the power working. And even on his own, he is extremely bright, where the point, if you look directly at him, you're probably going to, like...
She has her back to him.
Mess up your eyes, so...
He provides a great deal of light himself and charges up all the bulbs so they're shining bright to the point where they might pop but don't.
And then with my second mental action, if one of these things is skittering, I'm going to point a finger. Were there power in these cables?
There was a loss of power.
So there's a total loss of power. So yep. I can't draw on the power of the cables.
Nothing there yet.
Okay. Then I'm going to, with one hand still on the cable, he very quickly, like almost without looking at it, points his fingers and makes a finger gun shape with his other hand and points at one of the things that is like skittering towards them and channels the electricity. He's going to snap one of the shots off.
Go for it.
Success. It's a bunch of successes.
Roll your dice of damage.
Yeah, just the blue-white light of electricity and the weird kind of like stark shadows that must throw on these spider things probably does not help anything about how creepy they are.
No, it's awful.
Yeah.
How much power do I need to keep the lights on? I have 14 dice of electricity.
4 dice will probably do it.
Okay. So I don't run out too fast. I'm just going to use 6 dice right now. 5 lethal.
There's that telltale sound like a lightning bolt, and it is hit and it explodes. Need everyone who has fortitude or armor to soak 2 levels of aggravated damage.
Soaked.
All right.
I've got 3 successes.
Do 10s explode if I have a spec?
What's your spec?
Tough as nails.
Yes.
8.
You also soak.
Ira, as the only one in the room who does not have fortitude, apparently, holds his coat up over his face, and the acid hits the coat and starts to sizzle into it, but does not actually eat through the coat.
Everyone is attacked by these creatures.
Is there any way I can take Iris for him?
I'll allocate an extra one to you. I'm going to say 3 on Miles, 4 on Wynn, 2 on Johnny, 1 on Ira.
Might it make sense that there's more on Johnny than Miles?
Sure.
Just because he killed one near him, and I have not actually gone after one, so...
Can I parry?
You may sacrifice an action to parry, yes. Miles, you're rolling to parry 2 successes.
4.
You bat it away with your sword. Johnny. The first attack plainly misses.
As is right and proper.
Wow. Okay. Both attacks will simply miss you.
As is right and proper. Mm-hmm.
It's a chainsaw.
Yep.
Next one on... Okay. All of them miss Johnny. Miles, you are hit. No successes on flesh crafting. You're okay.
Good.
But it is up on your shoulder, and you can actually feel its fingers grabbing your ear and kind of trying to weave it into whatever shape it imagines. Ira, 4 successes.
Yeah. If it touches me, it automatically takes lightning damage.
Roll the damage.
Is that before or after the
It
visit?
leaps on you and explodes.
It's only 1 die.
High voltage.
Yeah.
It soaks 2.
Yeah, well, It's only 1.
Good try.
I don't have to do anything for that, so like...
Worth it.
As 1 success to fleshcraft, Ira, you will suffer 1 health level of damage that might be healable like ag, depending on a few factors. Otherwise, it's permanent.
The fuck does that mean?
But whole sections of your face are peeled away and knitted into like drooping jowls that hang from the bottom of your chin.
Oh, Ira freaks the fuck out. Like, this is not the kind of shit he does.
Actually, yeah, give me a courage check.
I can't rush right.
Oh, then you're good.
When Wynn sees what it does and that Ira has no defense other than his pretty coat, she throws an arm out in front to intercept another attack on him.
It fails. Wynn has 3 successes on you. You will lose 2 health levels.
Am I soaking?
No. As it simply takes an ear and the inner portions of your hearing mechanism, drum and all. I got 2 more on you. 1 success. It has 2 successes to fleshcraft you further. The other one leaps onto you and starts pulling all of the flesh from your hip and on the side and starts to break it down into simple muscle and fat tissues, spraying it against the wall. The next one is 3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
This has 4 successes to strip health levels from you.
Okay.
These are absolutely unsoakable too.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So she has 1 left before, and that is in cap.
Okay, you're still up.
Holy shit.
I have a question about how these things are moving. They're skittering around sort of spider-like, but are they crawling up walls like spiders, or do they seem to have to walk on the floor? And
They do seem to have to walk on the floor.
Okay. Good to know.
Celerity actions.
So Wynn, after this onslaught, just kind of gives this grunting sound, and her glowing eyes close for just a minute, and then she opens up with just resolve to stay on her feet as long as possible.
Get out of the room. We gotta get out of here.
You're keeping the lights on.
I'll keep the lights on.
You're keeping them alive.
With me. Everyone's gotta get out of here.
Well, Johnny is going to chop apart the 3 things in front of him.
Let's go.
I don't suppose Swift would apply here.
Hell yeah, go for it.
All right.
That's extra gross.
You're not trying to be graceful. You're just rushing around the room, waving that motherfucker around.
8 successes to hit the first one.
God damn.
Okay, 7 will carry over. It is strength plus 4 aggravated damage.
God, Jesus Christ.
6 levels of aggravated damage.
It bursts into horrific mess, and this crawling, hissing cyst splashes the area around it, but most of the spray lands harmlessly against your jacket.
Let's do this 2 more times. Holy shit. That was all but 1 success on that, so that's another 8 successes.
Okay, 7 carry over.
Last time I had a couple of 10s, but this time it was just all fucking successes.
Jesus.
Not as good as the last time, though. 7 successes. Actually, it was better.
You're going to roll soak against 1 point of aggravated damage.
Is my armor degrading at all?
No.
2 successes.
Okay, you absorb the damage.
A mere 3 successes this time. 6 levels of aggravated damage.
Roll to soak 2 levels of aggravated damage as the chainsaw crunches and squelches this thing into nothingness.
4 successes, but 2 1s, so I actually only soaked 2.
Okay, that's all of it.
Oh, I thought you said there was three levels of ag.
2.
Oh, never mind. I barely soaked 2.
We go to round 2, Miles.
I will
I gotta go.
split into 3 attacks.
Let's go, Miles.
Hell yeah.
First one is no good. Second one is 3 successes.
2 carry over into damage.
And 2 successes on the last one. 6 damage on the first one. 5 damage on the second one.
Both of them are destroyed. I need you to roll soak versus 1 ag and roll soak against 2 ag.
First one is soaked with 3. 5 or 6 on the second one.
Okay. 2 more are destroyed. Johnny, your go.
Johnny is also going to split into 3 attacks. Actually, so I'm only spending blood for 1 celerity this turn, meaning my attack pool is Dex 5, 4 celerity, 3 melee. So that's 12. If I split into 4, that would be 3 dice per, right?
Yes.
That's some chancy math.
Well, now he's sold on it.
Yeah, let's fucking do this.
I don't know what you're going for there, Tim.
Never tell me the odds, because I will take the worst ones possible.
Johnny roars and starts swinging the chainsaw about in wild arcs. First one's botch.
God damn it.
Oh God, if you hit me.
Okay, everybody. Hold on. Everyone who is not Johnny needs to roll a d10. Let me know what you get. And once we determine who rolled the lowest,
Satin, everyone.
I will say what happens next.
Yeah, you too, Britta. You never know where this chainsaw's going to end up. 7.
Oh, no,
I got 7, too.
That's a 1 on a d10 from old Ira.
All right. Johnny. Roll damage at a -3 die penalty.
For the record, I have 2 more health charges in this coat before it gets shredded.
Oh, no.
For the record, how does
so
the
you want me to
electricity...
roll what? Strength plus 1 die?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really like an accurate, purposeful strike. It's
Yeah,
just
it probably
kind
bounced
of
off the
clipped him.
carapace. And...
Yeah. It's more like the backswing was a bit of an issue there.
6 egg.
That is way less than I expected.
Good, because if it was much more, I was fucking dead.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be real. I thought Garrett just killed you. As Johnny swings, one leaps gracefully over him. A quick little thing. And before Johnny could pivot to follow up, the chainsaw clips against Ira, ripping his coat and the teeth digging deep into his flesh.
Ira, with a chainsaw to the gut from a brouhaha, Ira screams. Like, just in absolute agony.
Whether he's caught up in the moment or just doesn't seem to care, Johnny just grimaces and chases after the little tiny spider thing and hacks at it again.
I got 2 health levels left.
Does Ira electrocute me when I hit him?
Technically, yes.
Yo, roll a damage die.
Yeah, with my electricity spec, that's 2.
I can soak that though,
So,
right?
2 damage. It's only lethal, yeah.
I soak 2.
Yep, you're good. There's a snap of electrical discharge as the chainsaw tears out my insides.
Johnny, next attack roll.
Succeeds with 1 success, so nothing carries over to damage,
Right.
but it is 4 damage on a chainsaw, right?
That's right.
6 aggravated damage.
Is reduced to a smear, and 3 levels of aggravated damage pop up at you, Johnny.
He soaks 2.
I need a self-control check at difficulty 8 when you take your first level of damage.
I don't think this is my first level of damage tonight.
Oh, right. No, it's not.
Oh, wait.
Carry on.
By like a lot, right? Yeah.
No, it is actually.
Oh my god.
That's right. I haven't actually been hurt in any of these fights.
God damn.
You can also spend
Hey man,
willpower.
I'd love if you spend a willpower right now.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that. I just spent a willpower. We're good.
All right. Sounds good.
This is the time.
Johnny, is that all of your attacks? Do you still have one more?
I still have 2 more.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead,
I'm
man.
going for broke.
Unfortunately, it's a roulette. So he's really amped the tension in the air because we have no fucking idea how this is going to go.
No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to spend a willpower on both these more attacks, because you know what, we just need these to land and these things to die. Me botching that up in the first go is really putting us behind in terms of the killing here. That'll be 3 successes on the next attack.
2 carry over.
7 aggravated damage,
It will burst, dealing 1 level of aggravated damage to you.
which he easily soaks. His 4th attack. 2 successes.
1 carries over into damage.
11 ag.
Okay, that one is very dead. Very, very dead. And it grinds up in the chainsaw's teeth, spraying a level of aggravated damage up at you.
Which he soaks again.
Okay. It's on you, Wynn.
Hooray!
You can also spend a willpower.
One's on your back, one's on your hip.
3 on the first one.
Hit. 2 dice will carry over into damage.
And 1 success.
Both hit.
First one. I get 2 dice of damage that carry over. My strength is 4. And then 7 more. Damage dice don't explode, right?
Depends on your strength spec.
Rending?
It explodes.
Sweet. 11 ag.
It dies horrifically as your clawed hand dips into its meaty, wet, coconut-like flesh. And for your hand, you will soak against 3 levels of aggravated damage.
13 egg.
It dies.
Okay.
Very much so.
Okay.
It resurrects and dies again.
Will deal a level of aggravated damage to you. Go ahead and roll soak.
This is for the first soaking. A lot. And a paltry 5.
Okay.
Wynn actually takes the one that's on her shoulder, pecking at her ear, and smashes it into the one on her hip with claws through both of them, and then just kind of shakes them off.
You rend the last two apart, unaffected by their oily, acidic innards. And for the moment, the room is silent, aside from the loud arcs of lightning that are keeping the room lit, and the massive chainsaw that's running.
Ira, I'm sorry, man. I'm not used to people being so close by that I don't want to cut in half with this thing.
Ira is keeping a hand on, like, the power cable to keep power to the facility, but otherwise is, like, leaned over, like, hunched over, leaning against the computer console. Just those, like, humane, not that old of a kindred, like, he's panting and just, like...
Ira?
It's,
Call on your blood.
That's gonna take a little bit more than that to heal this.
I know, but you can fix it, so don't start panicking, okay?
I'm not panicking, but I need time. 10 minutes and I could at least fix my face, but we gotta go find your friend, right?
Yeah?
He looks around and he looks at the, like, fucking horrible Zamitzi shit, and just in a moment where, like, the mask slips a little bit more again, it just goes... The fuck were they doing here? Looks over at Miles. I'm sorry, I wasn't meant to fight shit like this. I'm meant to fight thaumaturges.
The night is young.
Johnny powers down the chainsaw and kind of like offers him a shoulder to grab onto. He doesn't like actually grab him because he doesn't want to get shocked again. But
no, if I touch you, you're gonna shock. We need the lights. Let's somebody froze this fucking computer. Let's get out of here.
Romeo, you still around?
He nods, kind of looking wide-eyed at the horror.
You said you could lead us to her?
I know where she is.
And you're leading us to her?
Yeah.
Okay. You said not to trust. I'm doubling down.
I understand. It's okay. I get it. This way. He kind of starts jogging off in a direction.
Ira, even glowing electrically, like, it doesn't seem to affect his stuff, and he pulls a Morley out and sticks in his mouth, and it just fucking snap lights. Offers one over, like, puts the pack down near Johnny.
As he kind of reaches the pack out, Johnny has already fished out his own and kind of just, like, nods to him.
Puts it back, and then goes, I appreciate it, but we're gonna need the power, and I don't want to shock nobody, so give me a second. And he rolls his left sleeve up, and there's like a bracelet made of like little red beads, and he just puts 2 of them in his mouth and snaps them off, and we'll gain 3 blood. Then lifts himself off the ground with his mind and starts levitating, essentially, floating down the hallway so he does not have to walk, because apparently the mental strain for Ira is way easier than, like, he's fucked up. He's not walking well. And just goes, all right, Sheriff, you and your ghost friend.
She's already started walking.
Lead on.
Miles does a quick swipe of the sword to get the rest of the acid off of it and keep close. These things might ambush us from anywhere.
She is still moving, but it's clear one of her legs is like dragging just a little from where the meat was torn away. But if she notices, she doesn't say anything.
Johnny pushes in to give you a shoulder to help you walk.
If there's going to be a lot more of that kind of thing in here, if I could make a suggestion. They love to get up close and personal, but Seneschal, you got a gun, and if we can just keep backing away and not have to touch them.
This gun's got special ammunition I'm not going to waste on these things.
I mean, I have a regular gun.
Staying at range might be tactical.
That's for sure.
You're not quite sure what you hear, but it resonates deep and through your bones. This loud, unnatural noise, and the facility, the chantry, shakes.
Path of Night is a Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Venture was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was composed for Path of Night by Brian Matolius. Find him online at brianmatolius.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show on ko-fi.com/pathofnight. Find us on twitter.com/pathofnightpod, on facebook.com/pathofnightpodcasts, or email us at pathofnightpodcasts@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
That was a 5-die pool for me, by the way.
Damn.
Did you have any specs?
I got 8 dice with a
No.
spec.
Also, Ira,
Not yet.
I seem to have been bleeding out of my hand. Would you mind cleaning that up?
With your mouth.
With your
Of course I was going to go there.
I'm a Tremere.
That's
No,
where I was
thank
going
you.
too. We're on the same page.
That's so bad for me.
Team Zoo Crew.
Just drink it up, you little Tremere bitch.